there's always a position group. There's always a spot on the roster, if you will, where we feel like it might be a sore spot for us, or we feel like it might not. We might have some question marks at that you probably go into the season a little bit uncomfortable with. I know I certainly have mine, and I'll tell you guys where that's at. And that's not a reflection. Oh, let me just say this right off the bat. I am excluding second year players, Miles Murphy. I am excluding any first year players from what I'm about to say. I think the edge rusher spot is a spot for me where I'm still uncomfortable personally. I just don't know who that guy. I understand Sam Hubbard is healthier now, and I hope that he's able to stay healthy. But I think that when I look at the defensive line side of the ball, I'm wondering outside of Trey Hendrickson, who's going to be that guy that we can truly count on to step up consistently. I'd like to think Joseph Asai could be that guy, but
don't sleep on my guy Cam Sample. All right, give my guy some credit.
I'm sleeping on that.
I'm not saying he's going to be crazy. I'm saying he can give you 500 snaps you can feel good about. It's a contract year. Maybe he bumps up.
And that could happen.
The Jermaine Pratt, Michael Johnson special. Yeah, 100%.
Contract year. Baby.
That's crazy.
Watch out. Cam Sample contract year. Get it trending.
He's a good player. He's a solid player, though.
Yeah, I don't know. But I hear where everyone's coming from. I'd like, again, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I really like the potential of Miles Murphy. I think Miles Murphy could be good, but I think it's just fair to try to, put more pressure on him going into year two than he probably already has. So Evan, what is the position group that you look at? I'm going to go around the entire panel here. But what is the position group that you look at, Evan? You're like, man, I don't know how I feel.
I don't know if it'd be more worried or more interested to see is the wide receiver room with Boyd gone. I'd like to see how guys like Burton, even adding tight ends and Gesicki and Eric all could flourish. Obviously we had the three-headed monster before, and now Boyd's gone. Can someone fill that role, and who's going to be that wide receiver 3 that steps up? I mean, there's a lot of options. So not as much as worried, as kind of just excited to see where it can go and kind of to see if the defenses can stop it.
I agree. Logan, what about you?
Man, I think for me, I think I'm looking at the running back room, man. Like, I like Zach Moss. I like Chase Brown. Nothing against them or anything, but it's just like, if Zach Moss just went back to being what Zach Moss was the first few years of his career, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. If a 5th round, second-year player in Chase Brown isn't that good, I don't think anybody should really be surprised. So again, if those two things that are fairly likely happen, then you're looking at who's going to run the ball, who are we giving these touches to? And again, I still think there's plenty of avenues for both of them to be successful because, unlike in the years past, we're going to have more of a committee approach, which I think will be great for both of those players, because when you can use players to their strength, you're going to see everything kind of, go more smoothly. But it's just an opportunity they have ahead of them. But I still think it's very possible that both of them really struggle this year or don't live up to expectations. And if that happens, then we're at another year with a below average run game.
I agree. I could understand. Listen, I've never been necessarily the biggest. I won't say anything. But I've never been the biggest Zach Moss guy. I've never really been the biggest Zach Moss guy. I thought that last year was sort of like a flash pan. But again, you want to give everybody an opportunity to really, really impress you, and you want to see how it all shakes out. Evan, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. What's a position group that you feel uncertain about?
I say this with sincerity, and you guys know I love DJ Turner, right? I love Cam Taylor-Britt. I think it's fair to look at the roster at present right now and what we have seen from these guys and say we are very encouraged, but do you necessarily have a corner one that you feel good going toe-to-toe with a variety of different skill sets in the number one receiver week to week to week, right? I know Cam Taylor-Britt has absolutely had great games. He's also dealt with injuries quite a bit so far in his career, and also is a very physical type of corner as well. So you see some susceptibility there a little bit. On top of corner, I will keep saying is, by studies, the third most injured position. The cornerback 3 in terms of the other boundary corner behind the 2 outside starters has played over 2,000 snaps in the last 3 years. That guy will be playing as much as you guys were clamoring for 500, 600, 700 good snaps from a guy like Johnny Newton. You're going to get that probably from your backup boundary corner. And right now, if God forbid either he or DJ Turner with a smaller frame ends up getting injured, you don't even have a veteran presence right now. And maybe they add somebody to help kind of shore up that room a little bit. But I am concerned looking at, hey, we're going to at present put in a 5th round rookie hey, at present, we're going to put in a second round, seventh round pick 1 year after his ACL tear. And we saw like 17 or 20 snaps from him last year. Though they were kind of high on him for a seventh round pick, I don't know if I feel great about him being the first guy off the bench if something happens to these guys. So when I'm examining the roster, I see the starters are really good in almost every spot. But then the depth is where you start to see these holes kind of appear. And interior offensive line is that kind of spot. Corner is really that kind of spot for me too, where I'm like, hey, you've got an injury history here with one guy, you've got a smaller frame guy in the other, and you don't have much experience, veteran depth behind them. So I still wouldn't be surprised to maybe see them add a corner sometime through the next couple months as people kind of find their way to
Eli
rosters
Apple.
and contenders, right? But overall, the state of the cornerback room is definitely something where I'm like, hey, if these guys don't stay healthy, then I'm a little concerned about
Yeah,
what you might have.